LaFace was like the Rolls Royce of labels. Very prestigious. You can go right to Buckhead, go up there, and come out with a check. Everybody wanted to be on LaFace. You got LA and Babyface, two well-known producers/songwriters, not just running the label, the owners of the label. So how could you not have a hit record with these guys overseeing this? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why when it came to the rap, they were like, hell yeah, Goody Mob, great group. One of the best groups out of the South. Then Outkast, the best group out of the South.
The best group of all time.
Of all time.
Period.
And so LaFace was that epic label to where they really took time and developed their artists. They made sure they was groomed. They was good on interviews. They moved around like gentlemen. That way you ain't really hear none of them getting into no shit back then, because they really took time with their artists.
Congratulations on your movie and this film. It's such a powerful film. And even bigger congrats on your engagement. Let's see that ring, girl. Show us that ring.
He did good. He did good. He did good. Yeah.
How long did you keep this a secret, this engagement?
Wasn't keeping it a secret. Just didn't, my sister Tamar said something before it was really out. So everything's good. I'm excited.
And then you've come a long way from Unbreak My Heart.
Yeah.
How did you know that Birdman was the one?
Well, he and I have been friends for a really long time, for like 17 years, and it just grew from friendship to more than that. So you got to keep your friends close. You never know what could happen.
That's true. We just saw a trailer for your Braxton's Family Values. It seems like you're in the process of wedding planning. What are on your top 3 wish lists for your wedding?
The cake is important. The groom's cake is important, and the dress. And I'm over 40, so you have to be. I'm particular about the dress over 40. It's kind of like that episode in Sex and the City.
Treasured pieces of jewelry, that $5 million engagement rings from Birdman, honey, just gone, honey. So Toni Braxton is trying to get her engagement ring.
Back in early 2019, Toni Braxton got blindsided. Live on TV. Her own sisters, Towanda and Traci, made a joke on air about her secretly marrying rapper Birdman. And that one little joke exploded into full-blown headlines. Overnight, gossip pages ran wild. Instagram was flooded, and YouTube was lit up with wedding confirmations that never even happened. What started as a private family moment turned into a viral firestorm. Toni was left scrolling for hours, seeing her name plastered everywhere about a ceremony that didn't exist. And what hurt the most? It was her own family that accidentally lit the match, without even asking if she was cool with it. Now, years later, Toni is finally breaking her silence. She's calling it out, saying loud and clear that she never gave the green light for that story to be told. And she's begging the media to check their facts before putting her business in the spotlight. She made it clear, I didn't give permission and I wasn't ready. It's a real warning about how fast fake headlines can spiral online. Toni never wanted her private world to be public fodder. But once the rumor mill started turning, there was no stopping it. Word on the street said she and Birdman were more than just friends. Toni kept it low-key for a reason. But then her sister teased about dropping by when the time's right, and another friend joked about slipping him snacks on set. The moment the paparazzi caught wind of the rumors, it was game over. They swarmed Toni Braxton like vultures, cameras zooming in on her fingers, desperate to catch even a glimpse of a ring. Reporters chased her down everywhere she went, hounding her with the same question. Are you engaged to Birdman? Toni had plans to reveal things on her own terms. But that chance? It got ripped away. The world saw the story before she ever got to tell it. Then came March 2022. Tragedy struck. Traci Braxton passed away after a battle with esophageal cancer, leaving a huge hole in the family. 2 years later, August 2024, the Braxton sisters reunited for a brand new reality show on WeTV. The official reason? To honor Traci's final wish, to share their story, raw and real. But now Toni just dropped a bombshell no one saw coming. Before she passed, Traci had quietly slipped a major clause into the show's production contract. It gave her estate full control over key storylines. And here's the kicker. None of the sisters even knew about it until the cameras were already rolling. Toni admitted she only found out once filming had already started. And when she did, it hit her like a brick. That one move forced her to reopen old wounds on camera with no warning, and the entire world watching every second. And it stirred up some serious tension. Traci's will left zero room for debate. She wanted her funeral private, a simple cremation, and strictly no involvement from any outside orgs like Zeta Phi Beta or the Order of the Eastern Star. That decision ruffled feathers, and not just in the family. But when Kevin Sr., Traci's husband, went ahead and planned a public memorial, everything blew up fast. He swore up and down that it was Traci's real wish, but the sisters were not buying it. They called him out, saying he went directly against her clear instructions. The tension was thick, and then it got ugly. Once that will started making the rounds, whew! Rumors were flying faster than a flock of birds dodging winter. And trust, the streets had a lot to say. Word started spreading that Traci had changed her will to favor her son. And here's where it gets real twisted. Gossip says Traci found out Big Kev had been stepping out on her and allegedly gave her HPV in the process. Now folks are connecting the dots, claiming that might have been what caused her throat cancer. That's the kind of scandal that'll have jaws on the floor. People are saying Traci wasn't just emotional, she was strategic. She knew exactly what she was doing when she left nearly everything to her son, and left her sisters completely out. And now, that bitter truth is boiling to the surface. Sources close to Traci say she felt so disrespected and unseen by her own sisters, she didn't trust them with her legacy. And fans are starting to understand why. They're pointing back to old episodes, saying the way the sisters treated her felt more like shade than support. Then came a moment nobody expected. Towanda's surprise engagement on the season finale flipped the whole script. Her longtime man, Sean Hall, dropped to one knee right in the middle of Toni's Las Vegas show with Cedric the Entertainer on stage. Talk about a wild twist. The crowd went crazy, but Toni, she was caught completely off guard. Towanda later opened up, saying she felt like she could hear Traci's voice in that moment whispering, "About time." She broke down in tears, thinking about how proud and happy Traci would have been to see it. But while it was beautiful for some, it hit different for Toni. Why? Because nobody told her. Not a word. Her own family kept it quiet, and she only found out with the rest of the world. It stung. Another moment where Toni was left out of her own circle. When it comes to family news, she's always the last to know, and it's starting to feel intentional. But the year didn't stop there. Later on, what was meant to be just a routine checkup turned into a near-death experience. Doctors discovered her main heart artery was 99% blocked. That's what they call a widowmaker, and most people don't survive it. Toni's battled lupus since 2008, but this was a whole new level of danger. She says the only reason she caught it in time felt like divine intervention. Something bigger than her, something from Traci. And get this, right after the appointment, Toni found a handwritten note stashed in her stuff. It was Traci's handwriting, sending her love and wishing her well. That moment shook her to her core. "Yeah, I was having this pain in my chest," Toni recalled, her voice cracking. "And I thought it was just heartbreak. I thought it was from losing one of my sisters. I told myself, I'm just sad. It's the grief." But behind the grief was something much more serious. Her doctor had been pressing her hard to go in for a checkup. "You need to do this," he kept saying. But Toni? She kept brushing it off. "I'm fine," she said. "Later." Until one day, he didn't ask. He told her, "Your appointment's set. It's tomorrow. You're going." That checkup ended up saving her life. But it wasn't just the big tragedies that stuck with Toni. It was the little ones, too. The small stings that built up like scars. She still remembers when Trina tried to joke about getting Toni to join Braxton Family Values. by canceling a $2,800 Monopoly debt. What was meant to be funny felt like a slap. A private conversation flipped into a public joke. Then Tamar tried to spin it, like she was helping Toni own her narrative. But to Toni, it felt like another backhanded move. More like they were using her name when it suited them. Then turning around and making her look like the bad guy. Those jokes weren't landing. They were cutting deep. And it didn't stop there. The petty digs, the shady comments, even the mean girl moments, like when Boo Sam teased her about making something other than Jell-O shots, kept piling on. But the final gut punch? Finding out Traci and Towanda had been secretly pitching her name to record labels, without her knowledge. While Toni was out there dominating as a solo star, stacking up 7 Grammys, her sisters were making backdoor deals, using her name, to lock in their own group contract. Behind Toni's back, her sisters were sealing deals with Arista Records without even looping her in. And this stung deep. Toni had originally signed them all to LaFace, thinking they'd rise together, sharing the spotlight like a real unit. But instead, it felt like they used her name as the key to unlock every door, while keeping her in the dark the whole time. And then came the Birdman chaos. Toni didn't even have to look far for the source of the leaks, because the bombshells weren't coming from strangers. They were coming straight from inside the family. She claims it was Traci and Towanda who were feeding her private convos to industry folks. Real-life sister talks flipped into tabloid headlines, just like that. Toni still doesn't know the full motive. Were they chasing clout? Or were they trying to sabotage her relationship from the inside? Either way, she's not biting her tongue anymore. This time she's putting it all out there, names included. And now, with all eyes watching, Toni's next move is everything. She's not just healing, she's taking back control. She's putting her family at the front of her life, but on her terms. No more secrets, no more being the last to know. And in a bold move, Toni's planning a powerful tribute concert for Traci, with every single dollar going to cancer research. She's invited her sisters to share the stage with her. But whether they'll show up, that's still a mystery. Toni says it would mean everything if they did, but make no mistake, she's ready to stand up there alone if she has to. And as soon as this family drama spilled into the public, fans went wild. Social media lit up. People were breaking down old episodes, pointing out shady moments, and begging for Traci's estate to release that mysterious clause. While the Braxton sisters stay quiet, their fans, loud as ever. Hardcore supporters have launched full-blown petitions, demanding public statements from Towanda and Traci's estate reps. Reddit is on fire, with threads exploding left and right, accusations of betrayal flying fast. And shockingly, a huge chunk of the internet is riding with Toni. They're saying she got straight up sold out by the very people she trusted the most. And that brings up one burning question. How does a global star who sold tens of millions of records end up facing multiple bankruptcies? What really drained her bank account? Was it the weight of family duties, bad label deals, or the non-stop medical battle she's been fighting for over a decade? Today, we're digging deep, real deep, into Toni's journey. From the heavy load she carried as a teen, to the heights of superstardom, to the betrayals that may have shifted her entire path. Before the lights ever hit her face, Toni was already living a grown woman's life. Long before the fame, her mom got seriously ill, and everything changed. Toni, still just a teen, had to step up. She became the default parent, cooking for the whole family, cleaning up, making sure her siblings stayed in line. Meanwhile, their dad was out grinding at multiple jobs to keep food on the table. That era wasn't just hard. It shaped her. It planted the roots of the mindset that's followed her ever since. Handle it all, hold it down, don't complain. When family needed help, Toni Braxton never hesitated. She meant it when she told herself, "I got them." Way back, Traci once told her, "Once you make it, you can help us all." And Toni took that to heart. For real. As soon as she blew up, she became the family's financial backbone. Not out of recklessness, but out of responsibility. She felt like it was her job to pull everyone out of the struggle. But that pressure came with a brutal cost. When she had to cancel her Las Vegas residency because of her health, it wasn't just a setback. It was a financial nightmare. Her insurance didn't cover a dime. That meant every cost came straight from her pocket. Hotel fees, staff salaries, lighting, the whole production. Gone. She covered it all herself. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, boom. Here came the IRS and the California Franchise Tax Board filing liens and draining her even deeper into debt. Through all of that, only one sister showed up. According to Toni, it was only Tamar who stepped up and helped care for their mother. Everyone else? Dead silent. Even when Toni begged for help, no one answered. That silence hit harder than any headline. Toni kept pushing until she couldn't anymore. The exhaustion built up. The weight turned into resentment. Behind the glam, behind those red carpet poses, is a woman who's breaking from always having to be the strong one. This isn't just a story about fame. It's about boundaries crossed, loyalty tested, and finally speaking out after years of holding it all in. The Braxton journey started with 5 sisters, side by side, chasing the same dream as the Braxtons. But when Toni shot to the top as the breakout star, the dream started to crack. The fame came fast, but so did the drama, misunderstandings, secrets, and moments she swears she'll never forget. Through chart-topping hits, brutal breakups, near-death scares, and family silence when she needed love the most, Toni carried it all. And even after all that, the bond between the sisters stayed complicated, deep, and messy as ever. So now the question is, whose side are you really on? Toni's or her sister's? Sound off in the comments. We want to hear your take. And if you're locked into this Braxton family storm, don't miss a beat. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, tap the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to catch up on the truth. See you on the next one.